I went to the school to conduct an investigation and stopped by the cafeteria for lunch. I saw a male student who had only gotten free soup, so I casually got him a lunch. Someone nearby whispered, "Isn't that our school's top student? How dare that girl talk to him?" Before I could think much of it, a female teacher had already rushed over and slapped me across the face. "What class are you in? How dare you seduce my son?" The male student panicked, grabbing her arm and shouting, "Mom, it's not what you think." The female teacher shook him off and grabbed my wrist. "Come on, we're going to see the principal." I had no choice but to explain. "You've misunderstood. I'm a staff member from the State Department of Education," she scoffed. "State Department of Education? At your age you dare to lie? Let's go." But I just have a baby face. When I was dragged into Principal Zachary Thorne's office, she was still yelling, "Mr. Thorne, my son is our top student. How dare she seduce him? A student like this must be expelled." He turned to me, his tone stern. "What class are you in? Give me your parents' phone number. You're expelled." I smiled. "I dare to give it to you, but I'm afraid you won't dare to call." Zachary Thorne was caught off guard by my response and froze for a moment. That teacher named Rebecca Foster jumped up beside him. "Mr. Thorne, look at her attitude. This shameless thing should be severely punished." I leaned back in my chair, rubbing my reddened wrist where she'd grabbed me. "Stop talking and make the call." Zachary Thorne rose to the challenge and picked up the desk phone. "What's the number?" I rattled off a string of digits. He dialed, pressed the speakerphone, and said arrogantly, "Hello, I'm Mr. Zachary Thorne from Ivy Ridge High School. Are you this student's parent? Your child has been seducing male students at school. Please come immediately." There was a 2-second silence on the other end. Then a voice came through, clearly confused. "What? What are you saying?" "Who?" Zachary Thorne repeated. "Your daughter has been seducing male students at school. Please come to the school immediately to handle this." Silence again on the other end. I almost couldn't hold back my laughter. If Mr. Thorne knew who was on the other end, he'd probably wet his pants already. Too bad he didn't know. He was still standing there arrogantly, waiting for my parent to come and apologize to him. "Mr. Thorne," the voice on the other end became strange. "Are you certain you're talking about my daughter?" "Of course I'm certain." Zachary Thorne was getting impatient. "Are you coming or not?" The other side said, "I'll be right there." "Mr. Thorne, until I arrive, no one is to lay a finger on her." The phone hung up. Mr. Thorne held the receiver and snorted. "Pretty arrogant." Rebecca Foster came over. "What happened? What was their attitude?" "Said they'll be right here." Zachary Thorne put down the receiver. "Told me not to touch her." Rebecca Foster's eyes rolled, and she suddenly became excited. "Mr. Thorne, I have an idea. Let's call a school-wide assembly and make this little vixen apologize in front of everyone. Make an example of her so all those girls with improper thoughts can see." Zachary Thorne hesitated. "Is that really necessary?" "Why wouldn't it be?" Rebecca Foster's voice was shrill. "My son ranked first in the entire city exam. He's our school's star student. If we don't deal with this kind of vixen, anyone will be able to seduce him in the future." Zachary Thorne nodded and was about to speak when Rebecca Foster reached out to grab my hair. I seized her wrist in one motion and twisted hard. She cried out in pain, her face going pale. "I can walk on my own." I released her hand and looked at her calmly. Rebecca Foster clutched her wrist. I stared her down until she retreated half a step, swallowing back the curses that had been on her lips. She hadn't expected me to fight back, much less expected my strength. In the hallway, she walked ahead of me, constantly turning back to glare, her mouth far from clean. I stopped walking. She stopped too, watching me warily. "Watch your mouth." My voice wasn't loud, but she was scared enough to retreat half a step, her lips trembling twice, ultimately not daring to curse again. Zachary Thorne urged from behind, hurry up, everyone's waiting at the field." On the field, over 2,000 students were already lined up by class. A sea of people, all whispering among themselves. Rebecca Foster pushed me onto the stage, using vicious force,